This is it, folks. Every single championship will actually be defended for a Clash of Champions 2019. We also have a no disqualification match between two guys who quite have some things to settle out, or really, rather, one just has to fend for this stuff, but you know what I mean, or not quite, but we'll get into that when we get into that. Now, originally, we were supposed to have the King of the Ring finals at this, pay-per-view, but they canceled that match. Boo. Boo you for that. And by the way, I should mention, even though the 24/7 title isn't listed, I have a good idea that there's going to be some shenanigans tonight. Either way, it feels good to have Clash of Champions back, as it was only there for 2016 and 2017 and was only recently brought back here. I'm CoffeeLover239, and with me as always is Heathy. Say hi, Heathy.
Hey guys.
And without further ado, let's get into the matches. Our first match is Bayley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, feeling that she deserves an opportunity for the SmackDown Women's Championship for her win over Trish Stratus at SummerSlam, Charlotte Flair issued a challenge to the reigning champion Bayley during a Moment of Bliss on the August 20th episode of SmackDown, and Bayley accepted the challenge for a Clash of Champions. Now, this is all that really was going on that's mentioned here, but isn't even mentioned here at all. I don't see it, but there was some extra bits, like after a certain match, I think on an episode of Raw, I forget, in the build-up, they kind of had Bayley supposedly turn, like with Sasha, like when Bayley appeared on Raw, I think it was the week before the Raw this week, as like, some wild card garbage again, but lo and behold, she gets the chair, and boom, wallops on Becky. It might have been a tag match, probably, I don't remember, or something. Yeah, it was a tag match, I remember that much. Don't remember against who, but yeah, Bayley walloped on her with the chair, supposedly turning heel, but then next night on SmackDown, coming out to the same cutesy music, the same damn wacky tube man. So it really seems more like she's more like a delusional heel, kind of like when Johnny Gargano was feuding with Aleister Black, yeah, and Johnny needed to have some sense kicked into him at that time. And Bayley might need some sense kicked into her here, I don't know. What I do know is that this has actually been the first shot that Charlotte Flair has gotten in quite some time. Yeah, it's been the first shot that Charlotte's had in some time at the titles, so it'll be at least a little bit more fresher here, but I don't know. Heathy, who do you think's gonna win?
First of all, I want to say I'm really shocked that Bayley just didn't come out and start poking holes in the wacky inflatable tube men with knives just for a bit of effect. But no, this pay-per-view has all the four horsewomen in title matches, singles matches. If it wasn't for the heel turn, I wouldn't have cared pretty much all about this match, but this heel turn makes what was a boring match more interesting one. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the first time that Bayley's turned heel in her WWE career, so for her to lose now would be absolutely asinine. She needs to pick up momentum. As for Charlotte, she has a long time to equal her dad's record. She's on 9 now, going for a 10th. I assume she has at least a decade in her. So, in one of the more predictable results, I think Bayley's going to win.
Yeah, looking at this match here, Bayley's reign is, I don't know if I really want to say it's all that fresh. Nah, it's been a good while still. Excuse me. It's been a good while since she won the title when she cashed in, funny enough, on Charlotte at MITB earlier this year, so there's a little bit of a revenge going for that, but that won't factor too much into this match. I mean, Charlotte combined with all her reigns, if we look at all, if this would just pull up here, thank you. Charlotte is pretty much the second longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champ behind Becky Lynch with 188 days. Bayley still has a little bit of her. She's had the title for about 115 days or so. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Bayley on this one. Yeah. And our next match is, god damn it, this is what I think is the problem with the goddamn tag division. If you were wondering why the tag division in WWE is a mess, well, you're looking at it right now. We have Makeshift Tag Team versus Makeshift Tag Team. Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman versus Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Okay, before I really further get into it, let's break this down. So, let me see. Okay, yeah, so on the August 12th episode of Raw, Seth Rollins faced U.S. champion and OC member AJ Styles in a non-title champion versus champion match, which resulted in a brawl with fellow OC members Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, with Braun Strowman coming to Rollins' aid. The following week, Rollins and Strowman defeated Gallows and Anderson to win the Raw Tag Team Championships. Why? Because screw established teams, that's why. Alright, just hold on, we'll get to it. So Rollins was then scheduled to defend both the Universal and the Raw Tag Team titles at Clash of Champions. On the August 26th episode of Raw, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, for some fucking reason, won a tag team turmoil that should have been won by the War Raiders, you stupid motherfuckers, to earn a Raw Tag Team Championship match at the event. While later that same night, Strowman challenged Rollins for the Universal Championship, and which Rollins accepted, but we'll get into that next. You see what I mentioned with the problem here? That tag team turmoil match was just nothing more than a farce at some points, because, you get certain teams, right? But the problem is, all the legitimate tag teams get thrown to the curb. Like, the Revival, although they have a match, but they're Raw, it's for SmackDown, their match, but we'll get into that one later. You throw, I don't know, who's quite established? I want to say B-Team, but they haven't really even been used all that well, or even all that much at all as of late, so to them. Heavy Machinery, they should have beat old Planeteers at, what was it? I think Stomping Grounds for the title, or no, not Stomping Grounds, whenever they had a match, because I know they had one at Stomping Grounds, but we were in Washington at that time, Daniel Bryan's home state, it would have been complicated. But yeah, Gallows and Anderson, War Raiders, all thrown to the curb. And now look, just so two guys like Bobby Roode has just, it is a crime how they've booked him and so many other NXT people that call-ups that they've done. And don't even get me started on what they've been doing with Dolph Ziggler as of late. And then you just put these two guys who don't have that much chemistry, don't have that much screen time together. Okay, maybe they've had matches here and there, but not a whole lot. And they're the ones going for the belts from another makeshift team who just won them seemingly for no reason other than to maybe fuel this own storyline? That's fucking stupid. This is my issue, and it angers me. They have all these great legit tag teams that they barely use. Hell, I heard Authors of Pain might actually be ready to go back on TV. Couldn't get them in on the action? No? Oh no, that's right, you had to ruin them with that stupid Drake Maverick shit. And now look, and he and I mentioned this, but we were talking a little bit about how AEW, you look at their tag team, it is way more legit. It's actual legit tag teams. Dark Order, Boy and His Dinosaur, or Jurassic Express, SCU, Private Party, The Best Friends, Angelico and Jack Evans. They actually have legitimate tag teams that can actually that are actual legit teams, and not just makeshift ones like this bullshit together. And the fact that they have to lump this all in just to feud Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman for the goddamn Universal title feud and pretty much nuke the tag division, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. Who do you think's gonna win?
I know it's a weird mix of talent to have in a tag team title match. You have so much talent, you have so many tag teams in WWE, and just put to the wayside for established single stars to just, team up because, hey, tag team titles might as well make it. Oh, they won't. They split up. Yeah, as you said, many AEW stars. They've got tag team tournament to crown their inaugural champions, the prestige of their titles, their tag titles, is so much more higher than WWE's tag titles, and it's not even being fully unfurled yet. Yeah, AEW many levels above WWE. As far as the match itself goes, I think it's just down to build tension, is it? You know, it's probably gonna kick off at the start of the show. Oh, if Rollins and Strowman win, how's that going to affect the match in the main event? If they lose, oh god, that's added some anger and intrigue into the main event. One of them's going to cost the other one, get blamed, and it's going to be an absolute wreck of the main event. I'm happy. I'll be happy if Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler win the titles, because even with AJ in the US title, it feels like all the titles are getting molded into one sort of weird amalgamation of a feud. When I feel like there's so much talent that could go for the titles. Right now, I mean, we got Cedric going after AJ for the US title, so that's something. But yeah, I'm not a fan of superstars holding more than one title on each given show when there's only like 3 or 4 titles on the show, and there's about 50 people competing. But yeah, I mean, I think logic dictates that Rollins and Strowman need to exit the tag division and lose the titles. So I'm going to go with Roode and Ziggler today.
As much as it pains me to say this match is just a lose-lose, no matter what you do, quite frankly. You know what? I'm just going to go with Roode and Ziggler, or Rudolph, as some people have been calling him. He's got old, like a little bit of the bubbly. But it's kind of ridiculous. I feel like we need to get some more legit teams going, and maybe getting them out and having them focus on their own feud. Yeah, just give it to Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever the fucking Dolph Ziggler, and then maybe have some legit tag teams beat the shit out of those two. They won't last very long, or I could be wrong, who knows. Our next match is Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. So already we mentioned before, yeah, Strowman's challenged Rollins for the Universal Championship, which he accepted. And now, what shot is this that Braun has now gone for the Universal title? His, what, 4th, 5th? I don't fucking remember. All I know is... all I know is that he's had way more shots, and yet he's still lost. Like, I mean... there's really not much else. Like, again, the Raw tag team stuff was really trying to further cement this, perhaps, and try to build tension. Like, oh, they lose, some shit's gonna break down, and ooh, they're gonna want to beat the real hell out of each other when this match happens. Like, I don't know, just... I feel like the Universal title has gone through a weird phase after, like, Rollins beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania earlier this year, which... but yeah, and then that whole MITB bullshit happened, which I've kind of thought of a decent reason for. Hopefully, it was a cheap ratings ploy, and that's really all. It was just a cheap way to boost ratings, and it probably didn't work. But yeah, I feel like the Universal title's in a weird transition, like, because you had all that whole MITB crap happen, and then Lesnar cashes in and wins at Extreme Rules, but then he loses it back to Rollins at SummerSlam, like... and it's like, what the hell? It's like, it's just almost, I don't want to say full hot potatoing, but I feel like keeping it between those two and not really building off anyone other than AJ Styles and building too much around Corbin, that really screwed it up a bit. And now Braun Strowman's back on this end. Heathy, who do you think's going to win?
It feels like every autumn you see Braun Strowman in the title mix somewhere. I don't know, it's... I wouldn't say it's hard to call, but I guess WWE have sort of shot themselves in the foot, because there was plans going out that it will be Rollins v McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. McIntyre unfortunately got injured, and then they had Bray Wyatt address the rumours that he himself was going to be the next feud for Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. Well, Bray Wyatt didn't specifically say, "I'll see you in Hell, Seth Rollins." You know, that's probably the clearest heel face dynamic there is going to be here. I mean, Strowman is like sort of a chaotic face. Some people say his actions are heelless, but whatever. I mentioned that Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler would beat these two for the tag team titles earlier in the night. in my last prediction. I think the tag loss will make the match more intriguing and interesting. I think WWE are jumping the gun on Bray Wyatt, but if they are, it's pretty obvious that it's going to be Wyatt who takes the title of Rollins, and unfortunately, this match will be filler. As much as Strowman is deserving of a world title reign, I guess his time's going to have to wait. So I'm going to go with Rollins to win.
They had a chance to do it last year at pay-per-view that shall not be named, but that didn't turn out well at all. And what sucks, actually, is that Drew McIntyre was originally supposed to be the one to win King of the Ring, but The Fiend kind of screwed up the plans because they were going to build King of the Ring to have a credible challenger from Seth Rollins for the Universal title. But The Fiend's popularity has been pretty much undeniable. Like, he's drawn a lot of well on social media, and the numbers, and this merch has been selling well too. Like, the numbers don't lie. So it's obvious where they're going to have it going. And as much as it pains me to say this, I'm probably going to have to go with Rollins. And shit, next thing you know, even if they are moving a little too fast for The Fiend, to tell you the truth, it might actually be working out well. I mean, like I said, he's been a hit for them. And it's just, just trying to think about all of it. It's just insane. But he might even actually be the one to dethrone Seth Rollins. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, unfortunately, it seems as if Braun Strowman is just not quite there yet. Or rather, it's just the time won't work. Perhaps he could do well in the U.S. title picture for the time being. I don't know. But I'm going to go with Rollins on this one. Our next match is Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Wait, how the hell are we back in this position? Well, given what happened at SummerSlam, I guess this shouldn't be much of a surprise, but they should have just went with the original finish, and I stand by that. Anyway, so on to this match. During the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam, Randy Orton attempted to target Kofi's family, who were at ringside. Kingston brawled with Orton outside the ring, and both men were counted out like that. Thus, Kingston retained the title, but he continued to attack Orton. On the following episode of SmackDown, New Day faced the team of Orton and the Revival, even though the Revival are on Raw, more wildcard bullshit, in which the latter won, and afterwards, Orton laid all the members of the New Day out with an RKO. Every single one of them. And then on Raw, Big E and Woods faced the Revival in a non-title match. More wildcard nonsense. And then the New Day won by disqualification in that match due to interference from Orton. Kingston came to their aid only for Orton to attack Kingston, while the Revival and Orton temporarily injured Woods' leg, taking him out. And seemingly Big E? Oh, fuck it. Who even matters? Unless I missed something. Anyways, the following week on SmackDown, Orton threatened to go after Kingston's family, and a WWE Championship rematch was scheduled between the two for Clash of Champions, while Big E and Woods were scheduled to defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championship against Raw Tag Team The Revival at the event. This is... this part feud, they're really amping this up and making it more personal at this point. Like, really, really more personal storyline-wise. Hell, I don't know how long they're going to really keep this going. If maybe they may just truly end it with Hell in a Cell. I have a feeling they might, considering Hell in a Cell and Randy Orton kind of go hand in hand, and that the personalities of this feud building up, and probably some stuff that could happen during this match might lead to that. I don't know. But, Heathie, who do you think's going to win?
Well, it's a toss-up. I want to see from Kofi's side where, this main event push, it sort of almost echoes 2009 back with Orton, except, we all know the story of what Orton did. Stupid. But,
Yep.
Kofi actually got the title this time. And back in 2009, people saying, oh, if Orton, there was always rumblings, and when it became more clear in the future, there was rumblings of, oh, if Orton hadn't done that, where would Kofi be now? Where would Kofi be back in 2011 or whatever? I feel like this is a closure that Kofi needs. You know, maybe they think about it in kayfabe too, but definitely backstage. I feel that if it wasn't for that, that dispute with Orton, the Orton Kofi match on Raw all them years ago, that we would have gotten to this point so much quicker of Kofi being world champion. I do think the title run is starting to run a little bit stale, but I feel like if you can't get past Orton and Kofi doesn't beat him, it kind of just sullies all of this build-up that they've had for the past 10 years. I mean, Kofi credits Orton with the one that held him back. So if Orton was to beat Kofi, that would kind of, add significant weight to the claim Orton's making that Kofi wasn't ready then, wasn't ready now. So I feel like Kofi does need to lose the title, but it can't be to Orton. He needs to get past Orton. Then the next competitor, the next challenger to go for Kofi's title is the one to take it from him. I don't think having him hold it for a year Kofi's champion, that's good, but it's not realistic that he holds it for a year, in my opinion. He hasn't got that clean win over Orton. That SummerSlam match ended in a DQ.
Double count out,
yeah. It's SummerSlam, it's the WWE title. Something happens, doesn't it? But yeah, he hasn't got a clean win over him. I feel like Orton doesn't need this title reign. He's on 13 or 14 now? I think he's on 13. He does need number 14 unless they seriously are thinking about having him equal Ric Flair's or John Cena's title reigns. I don't think that's on the agenda anyway. Yeah, but this feels like a smaller show and wouldn't be fitting of Kofi losing the title, especially after the manner in which he won at WrestleMania. I think they either need to save it for Survivor Series, which is one of the big four, or Hell in a Cell, which is still a pretty big pay-per-view in comparison to Clash of Champions. But yeah, I think Orton can bounce back from this. I wouldn't mind seeing him win. I think he'll be a great heel champion, but I don't think it's what the SmackDown brand needs right now. So I think I'm going to go with Kofi to win and retain.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. Honestly, yeah, I don't expect Kofi to hold the title much longer. Like, if we look at the pay-per-view schedule, well, the next pay-per-view we've got is Hell in a Cell. And if they do decide to fully end it here, then either he'll lose it at Hell in a Cell, or, oh shit, I'm not even going to say the name of it, but it's the pay-per-view after Hell in a Cell. Either one of those
Halloween Havoc.
No! Not Halloween Havoc. I wish it was. I wish it was, because it is. Because CJ actually is fucking falling on Halloween, and not like that Friday that they normally do those damn Saudi pay-per-views on for some reason. Like, I don't know what the hell's up with that, but that's weird. Like, shit, if it was Halloween Havoc, actually, that would actually be probably better than what we may or may not get. But back to here, yeah, Kofi's got to win. Like, I don't see him holding the title much longer after this, though. And it better be a legit win, unlike last time where they dropped the ball. Versus Humberto Carrillo versus Lince Dorado in a triple threat match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. So, a little Cruiserweight triple threat action, and old Lince Dorado of the old Lucha House Party finally gets a shot here. Anyways, alright, so what is it here? Okay, so on the August 20th episode of 205 Live, Team Oni Lorcan won the Captain's Challenge against Team Drew Gulak. Oh, excuse me. With Humberto Carrillo and Lorcan being the last remaining members of the team. The following week, 205 Live General Manager Drake Maverick scheduled Carrillo and Lorcan to compete in a number one contenders match to face Gulak for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship at Clash of Champions, which Carrillo won. And on the September 3rd episode, Lince Dorado defeated Carrillo, making it a triple threat match for the title. So yeah, it's like Gulak's still doing a decent job with the belt. And now we got some other fresher faces in the belt. Never thought I'd actually see one of the members of Lucha House Party actually get a shot. But I digress here. I mean, this should still be a pretty decent match. The Cruiserweights always tend to surprise a lot of us here. Who do you think's gonna win?
well, as of recently, Drew Gulak has been under sort of a purple patch of sorts. While he doesn't always win, he puts on some pretty good matches. As far as the triple threat, this was originally supposed to be a one-on-one with Humberto Carrillo, but Dorado beat Humberto to obviously qualify for the triple threat. As far as who's going to win, I think I don't know, because on one hand it's too soon for Humberto Carrillo to win, but on the other hand, he's been doing so well in his matches recently that you almost feel like he's the next champion. And also with the reports that 205 Live may be closing soon, you got to think, is Drew Gulak going to hold on to it until the apparent demise of the show, or is Humberto Carrillo going to be sort of a Ezekiel Jackson ECW type of role where he just becomes the last champion? I shouldn't. It's kind of weird for me to factor out Lince Dorado, but I do not think he's a big enough star to win. He's still with Lucha House Party, and I feel as though as long as those three are part of the stable, they're not going to, one of them's going to have to. Yeah, one of them will have to like break out and then go through, really get a title reign. Yeah, but as I said, Gulak's building up a purple patch. He's been great as of late, and I feel like a few more wins to really like make the next champion a absolute star is needed. And I think he needs to lose in 1v1 action, because if Carrillo wins and beats Dorado, it kind of just tarnishes the whole like reign of Gulak to have him not even get pinned to lose the title. So I'm gonna have Gulak to win.
Yeah, same. And I probably have a feeling Lince Dorado will actually be the one to go and take the pin, That's what I get the feeling at, is that he was thrown in there so that way Gulak can pin Dorado and not Kaleo, who can still look strong in the end. But yeah, I don't see why they'd cut off Gulak's ring now here, so I'll go with Gulak. And we have some wild card bullshit. It's New Day, Biggie and Xavier Woods versus The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Unfreaking believable. If the Revival were on SmackDown amongst this whole feud, then I wouldn't have a problem with this. But they're not. They're still Raw stars. They are still, honest to God, red is Raw stars. And quite frankly, this is, I think, really another issue. Like, wild card garbage. Like, maybe you could excuse more of it for tag teams, considering there's not really a whole lot of them like that are really fully established. But at the same time, can't we have heavy machinery with the damn belts? I don't know. I feel like the New Day don't really need the belts, to be honest. And now having them pretty much hold most of the gold, I don't know. It's just, Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I mean, when Vince McMahon had his now stupid epiphany that the wild card rule was going to be put in place, it is wild. I mean, up is down, left is right. Baron Corbin's getting cheered in MSG. The world ended in 2012, and this is all simulation. But if I'm being real for a second, there's this draft coming up. Maybe Revival wins, and then it's justified by sending them to Blue Brand. But yeah, it's a SmackDown team who are champions defending against a Raw team. Like, it's almost as if the draft is never going to come, and it's going to be back to the same old crap we had back in 2016, where everyone's just competing everywhere and there's no real viable reason to it, which sucks. This feud feels like it was built out of necessity just to placate the bit of the undercard of the feud for Kofi and Orton. Revival and Team FTRKO, and obviously New Day, Woods and E, starting with Kofi. I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion this may even be put on the pre-show, but I'm just going to be a bit boring here and go with the New Day to retain. I mean, there's not really much to say about this.
Yeah, well, we gotta find a way to get every title on the card, like I said. Well, almost, but like I said, 24/7 shenanigans will probably happen throughout the show, much like hardcore title shenanigans at WrestleMania X8 when it was just a free-for-all and so much crazy shit happened then. and we'll probably get some of that here. But yeah, I don't really see the Revival winning. There's been crazy rumors with some of them, like, oh, maybe they've re-signed, maybe they haven't, or that they're going to, or they're just waiting for their contract to expire. I don't know. All I know is that they need to get the hell out of the WWE. I really need to. And I have a feeling they're going to eat the loss here. And yet the New Day will continue their reign as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And if you were asking for more wildcard garbage, congratulations, here is your next prize. Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. So on the August 20th episode of SmackDown, Sami Zayn was a guest. Oh, wait a minute. Sami Zayn is also on Raw as well, isn't he? Ding, 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 ding. Good answer, Carl. It's coffee. Whatever. Anyways, yes, Raw Sami Zayn was a guest on Miz TV, hosted by Miz, who's from Raw, on SmackDown. Do you already see the problem with this? Wait, it gets worse. Zayn stated that after months of losing matches, he realized that he would be better suited to helping people on SmackDown instead of your own goddamn brand, and introduced his first client, Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Miz questioned why Nakamura would associate himself with Zayn, who said that Nakamura was unable to express himself because of the language barrier and that he would communicate for Nakamura. Shawty, no speak English. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, anyways, Miz then received a beatdown from both of them because fuck it. The following week, Miz challenged Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship at Clash of Champions, and Miz received yet another beatdown, but then they made the match official anyway, so good going, guys. I get it, okay? If there's one belt that The Miz is definitely synonymous with in the WWE, it would have to be the Intercontinental Championship. There's just no arguing that. He pretty much has been a very damn successful champion and is probably one of the best IC champions of all time, in my opinion. I mean, it may seem like a stretch, but I certainly think he's done a lot for that damn belt to make it prestigious as ever. And as of late, though, it has been a little honest to God mixed, I want to say, because when we look at it, if a damn thing would just load up here, I could give you some. Yeah, there we go. But when you look at it, though, as of late, it's really a little mixed. I mean, what happened? I mean, Nakamura beat Balor for the title on the fucking, what was it? It was at Extreme Rules on the pre-show earlier this year. But then, the title hasn't even been really made a strong, honest-to-God deal of. And Nakamura at times is just barely there. Hell, I don't even think there was actually an Intercontinental... Yeah, there wasn't even an Intercontinental match on SummerSlam, no less. That is bad. If Miz was on SmackDown, and same with Sami Zayn, then this whole thing would be fine. But no, because you have two Raw guys arguing with SmackDown shit here, with a SmackDown champion, you have more of this bullshit. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
The Miz, he epitomizes the Intercontinental Championship. You know, he's this world great superstar that's earned the respect of all the fans. He can put in a good shift when when required. Consistently putting out good matches. But I don't think it's his time now. I mean, like you said, Nakamura, no match on SummerSlam for the IC title. It's a bit of a joke, isn't it? The fact that the Intercontinental title, what was once regarded as the second best title in all of WWE, does not even get a match, not even on the pre-show of the second biggest pay-per-view. But I think Nakamura needs to find his footing as champion. It's still a relatively new reign, and he needs that convincing pay-per-view victory. His partnership with Sami Zayn, I think, is great. It can be extraordinary, depending on where they take this angle in the next few months. Maybe even have them a WrestleMania blow-off match, or just have them as a tag team for the time being, much akin to Nakamura and Rusev. Who knows? Miz, I don't think he's done much to convince he's a worthy challenger for the Intercontinental title. I think all that's happened is he's been attacked, and Miz wants payback. And look, Clash of Champions title's going to be on the line. But yeah, this match really hasn't got much buzz compared to the other matches. So, I think Miz is one IC title reign away from, equalizing the amount of reigns that Chris Jericho has. I think he has the most reigns at 9, and I think they just want to get that off the books and have Miz, be a 10-time champion. But he's got plenty of time for that. So I think for now, just keep about on Nakamura and have him retain.
You know what sucks is if they continue to keep this thing going, unless they properly get everyone sorted out, like when the draft comes back, which, if the date is rumored to be correct, then I should be doing a live watch-along of that on Twitch. But, yeah, ultimately, it still is a problem with some of this other stuff, and, I really, don't think Miz needs the belt. And honest to God, they have not. Babyface Miz has been booked so badly, it has crushed my soul. Not quite, but it's hurt it a bit. I mean, you have, he gets buried by Shane and just mostly pitting around in lower level crap. He should be, honestly think he should be in the main event, honestly, at this point. But, upper mid-card, main event, lower main event, somewhere around there, just give Nakamura the win, and maybe we can make something out of this. Just fix the fucking where everyone is. I swear to God, at times, I forget who's on what show at the time because of this crap and that stupid epiphany Vince had. Yeah, Nakamura to win. Our next match is Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. And the newly baddie Sasha Banks, might I add. At SummerSlam, Becky Lynch defeated Natalya in a submission match to retain the Raw Women's Championship. On the following Raw, Lynch said she respected Natalya and put out a warning to the rest of the women's division. Later, Natalya came out with her arm in a sling and said they would face each other again, and then she was interrupted by the returning Sasha Banks, who was last seen at WrestleMania 35. Yeah, she had been gone for a good while, some trouble with the company, but it's all been resolved, water under the bridge now. Banks hugged Natalya, but then attacked her, turning heel, and revealed also that she changed her hair color to blue for bad. Ooh, now a full-blown baddie. So Lynch came out to Natalya's aid, but was attacked by Banks with a chair. Banks later challenged Lynch for the title at Clash of Champions, and Lynch accepted. So yeah, we finally have her back, and she's now full evil. And lo and behold, finally, we can get... This is probably the spot, the most feasible that I've been waiting for to see, potentially. Yeah, or just... I'm having trouble finding the words, damn it. But basically, yes, we now have a true, legit baddie to challenge Becky Lynch. I mean, she had mostly spent way too long with Lacey Evans. Probably had, again, Natalya at SummerSlam, which it was a match. That's all I can really say about it. But now, Sasha finally back after working out her issues. This might be a chance, actually, for Becky to drop the title, because I kind of think the reign has gone on a little long enough as is, but now we have a chance, and maybe we can give Sasha a decent title reign where she actually defends the belt. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I think the title reign is starting to get a bit stale, almost like Kofi's reign. I think we've hit the sweet spot of this title reign, where it's slowed down a bit, and you have someone as white hot as Sasha Banks, who just recently turned heel. This will be the perfect switch, before Becky gets too stale and people start turning on her. And then you have someone like Sasha Banks, who's quite new to the title scene, not new to the actual main event scene, but new to the title scene, to come and just swoop in and take that title. Banks is going off a lot of momentum right now, kind of got hindered a bit, as, in that tag team loss. I know she didn't take the pin, but still, the loss kind of rubbed off a bit poorly on her. I think Lynch, while she is a good champion, I think she's an even better challenger. I mean, the feud heading into WrestleMania was great, but ever since then, I don't think it's lived up to par with what Becky Lynch can truly be. She's faced off against Lacey Evans and Natalya, I believe, and obviously she lost the SmackDown Women's title to Charlotte Flair. I'm talking about the Raw Women's title defenses. Yeah, I mean, Becky has to lose eventually, much like Kofi. You don't want fans turning on her, especially being one of the most white hot, one of the most cheered wrestlers in the company back in the first quarter. So, I mean, who else is there? I mean, you can't go back to Lacey, you can't go back to Natalya. I heard Tamina's making a return. How do you fancy that? I don't. Yeah, I think you get to the point of no return where if Becky beats Sasha, that there's really no one else of credibility. You know, WWE haven't really done much of building credible challengers, except the ones we have right now, which are Sasha Banks and Charlotte for the titles, and even then Charlotte. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah, I think if there's ever time to pull trigger on a new Raw Women's Champion, it has to be now. So I'm going to go with Sasha Banks to win the title.
Yeah, and looking at the challenger field, I'm going to have to agree with you, because, this is the chance, quite frankly, for Sasha to run roughshod as the heel boss that we've seen in NXT. And quite frankly, if she were to lose, then who the hell else would even challenge? Let's be real, who the hell else would? Because you look at this, Alicia Fox, Alexa Bliss still occupied with the Raw, or with the Women's Tag Team Championship, almost said something else, along with Nikki Cross, so that axes them out. Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Rhea, she barely wrestles anymore these days, and other stuff, so Naomi, actually, it's been a good while since we've seen Naomi. And Nia Jax is out with injuries. Yeah, and Ruby Riot's also out with injuries as well. Joy. Sarah Logan, I would, but Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit, really. So, yeah, and Tamina's coming back, but yeah, Sasha has to do this. It's time to put the man down for good, and yeah, just let the boss tap out the man. So, I'm also going to go with Sasha Banks. Our next match is Roman Reigns versus Erick Rowan in a no disqualification match. Oh, excuse me. Alright. So as Roman Reigns was getting ready to announce his SummerSlam opponent on the July 30 episode of SmackDown, an unidentified person pushed the lighting equipment on top of Reigns' backstage. The attacker was originally alleged to be Samoa Joe due to their previous rivalry, but he was proven innocent during a hit and run on Reigns in which Joe was a witness. Buddy Murphy then became a suspect/witness as he was spotted in the background in the footage of the original attack, prompting Reigns to force Murphy to reveal that the attacker was Erick Rowan. Excuse me. On the SummerSlam kickoff show, Rowan attacked Murphy for the accusation. Rowan and his tag team partner, Daniel Bryan, then forced Murphy to reveal that he was lying, and yet they conducted their own investigation to find out that the Reigns attacker was a man that looked like Rowan. However, Reigns found additional footage that indeed showed Rowan pushing over the equipment. And basically, Rowan went rogue due to Rowan lying, and a match between Reigns and Rowan was scheduled for Clash of Champions, which after what happened on SmackDown with that brawl and that plant probably that was attacked, it became a no disqualification match. So yeah, this is pretty much a grudge feud here. This is pretty much what the Roman Reigns attacker storyline has built up to now, and who knows what the hell is even really gonna happen. But I mean, on one hand, it's great that Erick Rowan's getting a feud against Reigns, considering he really hadn't had so much other stuff. It had mostly been a team side. On the other hand, though, at the same time, it's tough, you know. I mean, it's a no DQ match, so there's gonna be some brutality in it, hopefully. But yeah, Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I'm not sure if it's smart or not smart to make this no disqualification match. I mean, before this match was announced as no disqualification, I was thinking maybe Roman wins by DQ in an attempt to protect Rowan for a future match if they want to drag out this feud. But no, I wouldn't say they've booked themselves into a corner with this by making no disqualification. I think they've had to, just because the other matches need time, and if in my estimation, no disqualification means a quick yet impactful match between these two. This is like one of the only, if not the only, non-title match on the show. But yeah, I'm not sure if you are a gambling man. I assume you are, Coffee. But many listing odds have put Roman as the minus 600 favorite, negative 600 odds in favor of Reigns. It's definitely the most lopsided. When everyone else makes predictions, it's definitely the most lopsided match to call, to have Reigns win. I don't think WWE have the balls to make Rowan such a big star by pinning Reigns, especially as I as well as the creative team probably see Rowan as like an underboss to the big boss, which is Daniel Bryan, which may be done at Survivor Series. Who knows how long this feud's going to play out for. Quick side note, I think Murphy's just come out with an absolute star out of this. I know it's not potentially a match, but just inadvertently good job, WWE.
Yeah, or should I say us? The one true time that we can actually say we are the authority. Because if no one actually spotted him in the background, who knows how this damn thing would have played out. Continue.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be... I hate saying it because maybe I'm starting to warm up to Rowan, and I think he's got a lot of potential. That promo he cut on Tuesday had the beginnings of a great promo. But I think for the time being, I think Roman has bigger fish to fry, so I'm going to go with Roman Reigns to win.
That's honestly how the logical ending for this should play out. I mean, we finally get the true baddie and stuff, but who knows? Besides, it could probably be a pretty strong showing for both men, but again, I feel like a lot of people are really starting to warm back up to Reigns after all the mess that we went through with him like a year ago or so and all that jazz, when he actually did win the Universal title, only very briefly. But yeah, or it felt briefer than it actually was. But yeah, it'd probably be better, for Roman to win. I could still see Rowan, now that he's gone rogue and is split from Daniel Bryan, maybe somewhere in the mid-card around, doing mid-card stuff. But yeah, I'll go with Roman on this one as well. Our next match is Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Anyways, on the August 5th episode of Raw, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeated defending champions, the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. It's just the name. It's like when I think of that name, I think of that shitty fighting game on Xbox. And the original. And Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, a.k.a. Fire and Desire, even though their name is not listed here, the team name, but I digress, in a fatal four-way tag team elimination match to win the Women's Tag Team Championship. Yet another makeshift pairing that either may or may not work out in the end. I don't know. On the September 3rd episode of SmackDown, Rose and Deville challenged Bliss and Cross for the titles at Clash of Champions. Bliss said that they did not deserve an opportunity, however, but Cross accepted a non-title match for the night, which Rose and Deville won. A title match was then scheduled for the two teams between the two teams for Clash of Champions. Yeah, I mean, I will admit Bliss and Cross are doing better as the women's tag champs compared to the Iconics, who at times were barely on TV. I'll give Bliss and Cross credit; they're at least actual more champions who show up more. Yeah, but I don't know. Against Fire and Desire, I guess. I mean, it was inevitable that they were probably going to get a women's tag title at some point. It's just, I don't know if it's actually worth giving them the win. I mean, you could give a somewhat legit women's tag team because there's really not that many of them. I mean, there's them. I mean, they killed the Riot Squad, even though they were almost showing up non-stop, 6-woman or whatever match, week after week after week, like about almost a couple years to a year ago, and it was getting tiring fast. I don't know. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
Okay, first of all, gotta get this out of the way. The Kabuki Warriors. When I think of the word Kabuki, I think of the person hurling over the toilet the morning after a dodgy Mexican takeaway. But what I think about this tag match, I still think there's a heel turn, or like not really a heel turn, maybe. I think their faces, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, they definitely showed face tendencies. The fact that Nikki Cross, knowing that Alexa Bliss was so begrudging in not even allowing them to compete for the titles, but Nikki Cross kind of opened the door for them a little bit, gave them a bit of a pathway by making it, by announcing that they wanted their non-title match to be put in place. I don't know. I mean, they've got the win over them, a pinfall clean victory. I feel like they've not gone sour on either Bliss or Cross turning on one another. I feel like that could be something that we see in the future, possibly with implications for a future shot at the women's title, because of course there's not really many challenges there right now. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, while they've been a tag team for quite some time, there's still a bit of not a mismatch, but not really an established tag team, if you say, because you've had Fire and Desire, you've had the Iconics, the Kabuki Warriors, the Riot Squad, all these teams, Bayley and Banks, all these teams, came in as tag teams. So I don't know. I mean, chemistry. That's why I think it's going to be chemistry that really sees through who's the better team here, not just some weird storyline gimmick. I think it's time for the titles to switch hands. I think that Bliss and Cross, they've done a lot as tag champions. I've actually been interested in their matches whenever they show up. But I think it's time for a bit of a scenery change. I think Kay and Royce, I think it's their time. Not Kay and Royce, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, forget them. Because they're off for a while, yeah. But Rose and DeVille.
I've been catching up a lot of women's tag team action recently, and they kind of all blend into one when you see a lot of them.
Yeah.
But no, Fire and Desire, Rose and DeVille, I think they'd be great as tag team champions. I think their dynamic is actually a bit more better because they have each other's backs, but there's room for error in their matches. So I think I'm going to be a bit ballsy in this, and I'm going to go with Rose and DeVille to become the new women's tag team champions. And I'm going to say that Alexa Bliss turns heel on Nikki Cross.
To be honest, I don't know. It could go either way, to be honest. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't put the belts on Rose and DeVille much sooner, actually, given how they did come up, at least as a tag team, through being managed by Paige, or not really managed, because Paige was still somewhat wrestling at that point, but unfortunately, that got put to rest way sooner. Damn it. But I don't know, really. I mean, I kind of want to go with them on one hand, but on the other, I don't know how long they can keep Bliss and Cross going together. Oh, don't make me choose, damn it. I can't. I don't know. Just spin a random wheel and shit, still nothing. Yeah, I'll just go with Rose and DeVille as well. Really, it would be nice to have them do it. And then maybe, I don't know. My Iconics are probably still off because, forget, which one was it that married Sean Spears?
Peyton Royce.
Yeah, Peyton Royce. Yeah, it was Peyton Royce who married Sean Spears, a.k.a. the former Ty Dillinger. So that's probably why they've been off TV quite a bit as well. So they can do stuff. So, or I don't know. But yeah, we could have them. And then maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going with Rose and DeVille, really. Let's just fuck it. Let's just do it and see. Hope to God something great happens. And if not, well then, at least they could have. Ooh, and finally, our last match. AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander for the United States Championship. On the September 9th episode of Raw, Cedric Alexander faced OC member AJ Styles for the United States Championship, only for the match to end via disqualification due to interference from fellow OC members Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Later that night, Alexander pinned Styles in a 10-man tag team match that featured Alexander, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and the War Raiders. Thank God they're actually doing something and not just squashing jobbers, but they really need to be in the title picture. Seriously, someone fix that. Against the OC, Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Styles was then scheduled to defend the title in a rematch against Alexander at Clash of Champions. So yeah, again, another one that's just there to pad out the get almost every title, like I said, on pay-per-view. At least defend all the championships one way or another. It's kind of the tagline going in for this thing, you know, but ultimately, I'm not sure, again, with this one. You know, it's kind of ridiculous how a lot of these I'm not so sure on. But when I think, though, I mean, at least we haven't had too many transitional stuff with the U.S. title as of late. On the other hand, though, it would be nice to have Cedric Alexander, who at one point was in that flock of idiots chasing for the 24/7 title, and now he's up a step challenging AJ Styles for the U.S. Championship. I feel like we could build him as a solid mid-carder at least, and maybe build off more there if the reign would prove successful. Heathy, who do you think's gonna win?
Much like Buddy Murphy over on SmackDown, I feel like this is just a case of happenstance and being in the right place at the right time. We know with Buddy Murphy, we saw him in and around the carnage of the attack on Roman Reigns, whether it was completely, intentional or not, we don't think it was. They catapulted him into matches with Reigns, which he lost, Bryan, which he won, and now he's finally gets more TV time. With Cedric Alexander, I think the plan originally was just to pair him with McIntyre, have him get a shock win over McIntyre, and then McIntyre absolutely decimate him and get his head back in the game for his apparent match against Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. Now that McIntyre is out of the equation, I think it freed up Alexander to do some other stuff, and WWE, thank God, they realised what a talent they have in their hands and what they could do with him in their spare time. And they put together a match I'm really excited for. I think that, after the last few weeks, really building up a stock, and especially with that win over AD Styles and MSG and then getting put over by Stone Cold, win or lose, there's a start to be made out of this. I think the Cruiserweights are finally getting their due. And it's just proven that there's more to life than 205 Live if you're on that brand, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali. That's not the be-all and end-all, which is good. Obviously, who's going to win? I don't think it's the time for Cedric right now. I think he can keep putting on some great matches with the likes of AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, Wyatt maybe, I don't know, whoever. We'll have to wait and see about that, but for the here and now, I think it's just, I'm kind of 50-50, so when in doubt, go with the more experienced more experienced person in that match to retain. So I think that AJ is going to be the one to win and continue his title win.
It makes me wonder, though, afterwards, if he does, then who's honest to God going to be next? I mean, this one is a little bit more afterthought, but at least the most exciting out of all the afterthoughts that have been booked here. But who does Styles even go for next after this is what I'm curious. I mean, if Braun doesn't get the Universal title, and he probably won't, then maybe go for the U.S. title? And then who else do we, honest to God, have? Miz? Well, I don't know. It's tough, and it would be nice for Alexander to get the win. But, hey, maybe we might get the shocking victory. I don't know, but I'm just going to go with my head and go with Styles. But my heart still says Alexander, but going with Styles on this one. And that's basically going to do it. Honestly, there really doesn't seem like so much to say about this on the surface, with the exception of a small handful of certain things. I mean, the card still at least looks decent enough, and should be a fairly enjoyable show. And yeah, that's really kind of it. Other than it's just a shame that we won't be seeing the King of the Ring finals here, because otherwise, that does make the Roman Reigns and Erick Rowan match the only non-title match of the evening. And yeah, even though the 24/7 title's not listed, you can guarantee something's gonna happen. And I want to thank Heathie here for being again with me, or being here with me again as always. Say bye, Heathie.
Thanks. I'll see you guys later.
And my pleasure. And we will see you next time for Hell in a Cell. So until then, thanks for watching.